Are you now ready for some even more complex shapes? We're going to do a couple of these neat badges, or things you can make into a seal logo or a for sale badge. There's a lot of things you can do with this type of rounded, pointed, edged seal. So how we're going to do this is we're going to do a simple ellipse tool, click and drag. I'm just holding down Shift, and we're going to go up to Effect, Distort, Transform, and Zigzag. So this is where we're going to start to access some of our drop-down menus here. We're going to Effect, going down to Distort and Transform, and we're going to go down to Zigzag. We're going to do Zigzag for both of these. So I'm going to go, this is just kind of something you'll have to memorize in terms of how to find it. We're going to click on Preview, and you can create all sorts of different stars and badges and seals and all sorts of neat things. So we're going to have a pretty tight size, so we're going to make it kind of small. And ridges per segment, so we're going to increase the amount of ridges. And notice how it's sharp. We want to be able to have a smooth corner. So we're going to select Smooth, and just like that, we went ahead and created a cool shape. And then let's say my teeth don't line up. I might need to add 1 or 2 teeth or 1 or 2 ridges. If I want to edit this, I can go to my Properties panel. Anytime you apply an effect like a drop shadow or a zigzag or a distort, you can go to your Properties panel and easily modify that by going down here, FX, there's your effects. You can click and delete it, or you can click right here to edit the effect. So just kind of a short way to go in and edit that effect. So I'm going to edit the effect, and I'm just going to probably add, let's see how many I need to add. Anyway, that's pretty close. So we're just going to stick with that. It's pretty darn close. I just wanted to show you how you edit an effect after you do it, so you don't have to go back and do it all over again. So let's try that again with the ellipse tool, but let's see how many ridges are here. This has 10 ridges, so now we know that ahead of time. Let's go to Effect, Distort and Transform, and go down to Zigzag, and let's see if we can't create this shape. Let's do a smooth corner, and let's decrease the size quite a bit. That's pretty darn close. So ridges per segment, I did 4, and then size I did 0.07. Once again, it doesn't have to be exact as long as you get pretty close and you're able to kind of practice the basic tool. So I'm just going to make that a little bigger and match it up. And you can see how you could put stroke circles in here, and you can create a wide array of badges. This is kind of a badge project I did for my project-based class, where we kind of really go in more depth about creating seal graphics. So there's a lot of things you can do with these type of shapes. So just Effect, Distort and Transform, and Zigzag. The next object, we're going to click and hold, and we're going to talk about the line segment tool. Some people, when they want to draw a line, they want to use the pen tool, and that's fine. But the line segment tool is just as easy to draw a simple stroked line. So we're going to do the line segment tool. And there's a little neat trick. When you click and hold, we can, create a line, and let's make sure it's on a stroke. So the stroke is going to be this bottom one. And let's go ahead and do the eyedropper tool right here, and we're going to just sample this blue and just make sure it's toggled onto stroke. And let's make it a little bit thicker. So just going to get our stroke panel and make it a little thicker. So how do I do straight lines very easily? So if I go back, I can get pretty close, click and hold, pretty close to even, but it's not super duper perfectly straight. So I'm going to hold down Shift and click. So I'm going to hold down Shift, click, and drag, and it's gonna, even if I move the mouse up and down, it stays pretty straight. So we're able to create some pretty good straight lines here. Just doing one after the other, just practicing. Just clicking, I'm holding down Shift. If I didn't hold down Shift, you can go any direction you'd like. So you'll notice a difference here. So this has these nice rounded edges, pill shape, and this has this kind of sharp edge. How do I get the pill shape pretty easily? We're going to select all 4 of these strokes. We're going to go over to our stroke panel, and you have something called a cap, and we're going to do a round cap. So the caps are the end of your strokes, and we're going to make that nice and round by just clicking on round cap. So now we have some nice lines. We can click on all 4, just holding down Shift while I'm selecting them, go up to a line, and I'm just going to do this horizontal align left. It kind of, these little lines help hint at which way it's going to help you align. So that's going to align everything on the bottom, align everything on the top. So I'm just going to do a horizontal align left. So now everything is aligned to the left. And we can, of course, shift these down, probably make the stroke a little bit bigger to help it match. So yeah, let's make it a little bit thicker stroke, maybe just 4 points to make it match pretty close. And let's say we had the lines off a little bit. So let's say we had this line down here and this line down here. We want to make sure there's even spaces between all of these lines. We want them all to be perfectly spaced in between horizontally. So there's an align option for that. So let's select all 4, go up to align again, and there's something called vertical distribute center, and it's going to align everything in between has an equal space. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and everything there's equal spacing between each one. It's kind of a nice way to kind of organize multiple shapes if you want the same spacing between. Look what we just did. In about 15 minutes we were able to kind of learn simple shapes, learn how to do strokes. We talked about rounded corners, we talked about complex shapes, and we even used the line segment tool and how to draw nice even lines and put even spaces between them. Now comes the hard part. So let's toggle off our grids. There's a little keyboard shortcut you can learn, which is Command quotation. You can kind of toggle them on and off. But if you're still not comfortable with shortcuts, that's okay. You're still learning. Go to View and just turn off the grid. You could just hide the grid. And then also we're going to take off Snap to Grid. We just used it for that one example because we were using the grid. Now we're going to go ahead and take that off. So Snap to Grid is off, and we're ready for one of the hardest and challenging tools to learn in Adobe Illustrator, but one of the most powerful tools. The Pen tool is at the heart and soul of every graphic designer and every logo designer. It's going to be able to give us the key to illustrate, to do all sorts of stuff in Adobe Illustrator. So let's go ahead and do this next.